Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It is time for WDD Live. Oh, man, Stratos is here, Darwin's here, Sarah's here. Hey, let me know if the audio is okay. We're on the B team setup right now, so it's going to sound different. It's going to look different. We are streaming live from the Geary.co Sarasota compound. No, it's just a humble little townhouse here down in Sarasota. What's up, Marius? What's up, Steve? Are we looking good? Looking good? Looking good? Sounding good? Hey, Kevin Geary, greetings from Alpharetta this time. Manny, you up in Alpharetta right now? Are you always in Alpharetta? You normally, where are you normally, Manny? All right, everybody says audio is fine. Good to go. Good to see you, Steve, Lewis. Ripple, Sophie, Rob, Tobias, got a lot of Tobiases. Larry Stratos is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, everybody. You have an alien face in your ceiling. I do? I don't see where that is. I don't see it. By the way, guys, I gotta tell you, it is, I had to edit I had to get the Black Friday thing going, right? So I had to edit the ACSS site, the brick site. I don't know how y'all work on laptops, okay? This is it's like a MacBook Pro. It's got a 15-inch screen or something on it. I can't do it. I absolutely cannot do it. Yeah, it's atrocious. Absolutely, like going from dual 32-inch screens to a 15-inch, I can't do it. I don't know if you guys work on a laptop like all the time. I don't know how you do it. I would highly recommend you upgrade and not do that anymore. It's an absolutely terrible experience. All right, let's see. MacBook Pro plus external. Yeah. If you have an external monitor, that's an absolute must. I'm gonna spend Thanksgiving in Georgia this year, and I have a 10K tomorrow. Oh, a 10K run. Got it. Where are you normally, Manny? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where are you normally? And why would you come to Atlanta when I'm not in Atlanta? That would be my follow-up question. Because if you're in Atlanta, you gotta reach out. You gotta say hi. I'm known to meet up sometimes. That's right, Miami. Manny from Miami. That should be very, very easy to remember. Okay, here's our agenda today. We're gonna do a little R3 conference recap. I want to talk about the importance of conferences. I want to obviously go over our Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, and then we'll do as much Q&A/AMA as we can possibly fit in. The fam has headed out to the beach, and we've got some friends over as well. So the compound is very quiet right now. I don't expect them to be back anytime soon, so we should be good to go. I just bought ACSS frames and joined the inner circle. You did not do Black Friday, you said. Well, here's the thing. As you're going to see in just a second, where can I put that? Can you guys see me dragging this thing around? I don't know where to put it. Let's put it right there. Okay. You didn't miss anything, Sophie. You didn't miss anything. It's okay. The way that I structured these, let's just do the Black Friday, because they're already up on the screen. I'll just talk about these first, and then we'll move on to talking about R3. So the way that Andrea says turn on the Sonos. He bought me a Sonos for the townhouse down here, which is fantastic. Let's see. Alexa, shuffle songs by Nick D.
Here's some music by Nick D.
Let's see how the Sonos sounds. How do I make this thing go off the screen? Do I have to close it? I guess. Alexa, pause. Okay. See, the Sonos is back there. Thank you for that, Andrea. My mind is like all over the place right now. I'm trying to figure the laptop situation out. I don't have my other screens to look at. I've got to flip back and forth 8,000 times between tabs. Okay. Oh, did I set yours off? I apologize. Set off dozens of Alexas. Alexa is having a field day right now. Okay. Anyway,
Something went wrong.
She's trying to talk to me still. Okay. we don't need you anymore, Alexa. Thank you. BFCM, dude.
Kindness really gives me a charge. Happy Wednesday.
She's talking mad shit back there. Like, I don't know what she's talking about. Okay, she needs to calm down. All right, BFCM deals. The way I structured these is to not, it shouldn't impact you. Like if you've already purchased, things can only really get better, and you've already locked in the best rates. The way that I do things is like, I want people to know at all times that they already got the best deal. So, you know, it's like automatic CSS, for example. What are we doing for the deal? So you can get a 2-year license with 200 sites. I think I set up this to screen share. Yeah, that was for that. Let's go to the ACSS pricing page. Okay, so the agency pro plan is normally $149 per year. That's the normal price. The way we've set it up for Black Friday is you can go $240, okay? That gets you 2 years. So you're getting 20% off per year. And you're also doubling your active licenses, or it's, you know, how many sites you can activate ACSS on. Normally it's 100 sites. You can upgrade it to 200 sites. And that should give most of you, like the vast majority of people, you know, are you going to need more than that? Most likely not, right? Not for the foreseeable future. After the 2 years is up, this is going to auto renew at $149 per year, the normal rate, okay? But you lock in the 200 sites forever. And I really hope you guys can see my screen right now. Like I told it to screen share. Let me just check on the chat. If you guys can see the screen, just let me know. I have PTSD from not sharing screens. So if you guys can see the screen, let me know. Just that'll give me some confidence in the Ecamm laptop setup here. So this is but here's the thing, like there's people that maybe signed up yesterday or maybe signed up last week or whatever. It's like, what about them, you know? Well, it's okay because you can go in your account. This is for existing or new customers. So if you're an existing customer, you can go in your account right now. There's an upgrade path on your license. You can just hit upgrade and it's going to prorate it. So whatever you paid last week, it's going to take it off of this deal and just upgrade you to the deal. It's no big deal, right? So, you know, you're not out. Like, I don't want people to feel like they're, you know, out of luck because they, you know, signed up at the wrong time or something. You know, things in our ecosystem typically only get more expensive, okay, with less licenses. That's like, you know, you're always getting the best deal when you sign up now. So that's the idea there. Let's go back to, okay, yes, everybody's saying screen sharing, nice. Okay, good. You should have your mobile next to you and mute opened with video feed from YouTube to check. That's a good idea. It's a good idea, Stratos. See, you know, we need, you know, people like you around. Let's go ahead, and I don't think I need to do it now because everybody confirmed, but I will do that for next time. Okay, so that is the ACSS deal. It's pretty straightforward, It's nothing insane, but it is a really good deal. It's a really good deal. And, you know, we don't know what's going to happen with ACSS pricing. It's already gone up a few times. Obviously, the LTD has long since gone away. I literally get, I don't know, a dozen messages a week begging for the LTD. It just goes to like, what I kind of want to communicate very clearly as possible is when you have a deal in front of you for ACSS or frames or inner circle or whatever, you've got to pull the trigger. It only gets worse going forwards. It only gets worse. It never gets better. It's never going to be better in the future, right? I got 10 messages a week for people who want frames for Figma. They're like, I should have bought it when you first did the launch. Can please, they're just like begging me. I'm like, I'm sorry, but like we gave the window. Things only get worse. You have to get it when it's in front of you. I don't like a lot of companies out there, you know, you buy an LTD this year and then the LTD is back next year and it's even cheaper than it was the year before, or there's even more licenses. It only gets worse in this ecosystem. It does not get, we don't do that kind of game. So you can purchase knowing that the thing you are purchasing right now is the best that is ever going to be. It's not going to get any better in the future. And people don't believe me. I say it over and over again. For some reason, they don't believe me. And then they start begging me, a year later when they realize, yeah, he was right. It doesn't get any better. And so now they're in a worse position. Okay, so that's ACSS. Let's hop over to frames. So frames, you guys should probably recognize this deal. If you bought frames last week, for example, this is the actual deal that you bought. What we're doing is on Tuesday, Tuesday morning. So you have till Monday, like at midnight for these deals. So frames on Tuesday morning, and this actually is the best case scenario. It actually might be worse than this. My team already was like messaging me like, I think we should get rid of the LTD now. It's like frames is mature enough. Let's just get rid of the LTD. So I've got people chirping in my ear that this LTD needs to go away. So what you're looking at right here in terms of what the price is going to increase to, I'll tell you there's two reasons this is like best case scenario. It could on Tuesday morning look even worse than this, okay? So you'll see 379 is crossed out. That's the perhaps price that it's going to on Tuesday morning. Again, best case scenario. It could go to 449 on Tuesday, okay? I'm not just throwing a random big number out there to be like, look at the discount you get on Black Friday. I'm showing you the best case scenario. It could actually be worse than this on Tuesday morning. 449 would be, 149 times 3, right? A lot of people do, or 447. A lot of people do like a 3x for the LTD. I actually like to trend more towards a 4x for LTDs, right? Which would be 596. And the reason I'm doing times 149 is because we would do the same thing as we're doing with automatic CSS, which is introducing an agency pro plan. And that would be the 149 a year, very similar to the price of ACSS. So you take that 149 times 3 or 4, that's the more realistic scenario. And that's if we stick with an LTD. Another part of that, bad scenario is the LTD is just not even there on Tuesday. Got to go back and talk to the team and have more conversations. But what I'm showing you right here is, on Tuesday, this would be the best case scenario that this goes to 379, and it would go to 100 licenses limited, right? So right now you have the chance to still get it at 299, which is an absolute steal. Because remember, this is not just the layout side of things. This is the components library as well. You can get rid of bricks extras more or less if you've been using that, or eyeballing a bricks extras license. You don't need that once you have frames. We're about to release a mega menu builder, right? I shouldn't say we're about to release it. We are working on it, planning for it. And our goal, because we're not a big fan, if you don't know, we're not a big fan of the Bricks Mega Menu Builder, the native one, right? I think that it can be dramatically improved. So we're going to build our own, and it's going to be available inside of frames. That's not a small thing, and that's not an invaluable thing. Like that is a very, very valuable component once it's available to go along with all of the other very valuable components, the carousels, the accordions, all the stuff that we're doing, right? And that library is going to continue to grow. So this price is an absolute steal. $299 gets you the LTD. It's unlimited licenses, so you don't have to worry about any sort of limits. And this will be gone on Tuesday morning. I don't know exactly what's going to replace it on Tuesday morning, but you're looking at a best case scenario here, and it could actually be worse than that. So that's what's going on with frames. Lastly, and then I'll come back to the chat in just a second, and I will answer any questions. So lastly is the inner circle. Lots of people joining the inner circle lately, which is fantastic. I'm going to come down here, and you're just going to see the little note that is above here. So I opened the inner circle at $20 a month, or $96 for 6 months. And it is, I actually said when I launched the inner circle, when we reach 100 members, okay, 100 members, I'm going to increase the price. And then I said, we're going to increase the price at pretty much every tier, like 500 members, 1,000 members, 1,500 members, and so on. I have not done that. I didn't do any of those things, right? I just wanted as many people as possible to be able to access it if they want to. Now, it's continued to get more and more and more valuable since those days. And obviously the larger it gets, the more valuable it gets. Got some really like agency shifting, freelancer business shifting trainings in there, stuff that literally will generate tens of thousands of dollars for you if you follow them and implement them. The value to price ratio is absolutely stupid. So we're doing a little bit of an increase. It's going to go to $25 a month or $125 semi-annually. It's not a big increase at all. I mean, this could be a $50 a month thing. It could be a $60 a month thing, a $99 a month thing. It could be a lot of things, okay? It's absolutely, like I said, the pricing is absolutely stupid. So we got to increase it a little bit, $25 a month or $125 semi-annually. That'll happen on Tuesday. So this is your chance, like if you're not in the inner circle, to just lock in. By the way, you're grandfathered in, right? So you're locking in this rate. So when the price increases on Tuesday, it's not going to affect anybody that's on a current plan, even if you're on a month-to-month plan. So you're always grandfathered in. This is your chance to, and again, you know, sometimes people don't believe me. They're like, I just think I'll keep waiting on it. And then when they decide I really need that inner circle thing, you know, they come crawling back, like begging, right? You know, for the old rate. It is what it is. Like it's gone. That ship has sailed. So when it's in front of you, that is the time to get it. It does not get any better. All right, let me go back to Ecamm here. All right, I think we go, no, that's just changing tabs. That does not get it. Oh, shift tab, that's what we want to do. Okay, and we can go back to here. All right, I need to check out the chat. I just joined Inner Circle. I'm rebuilding my business, climbing out of Chumpland. The trainings are awesome. All right, that is fantastic to hear. How long have you been doing this, Sophie? So you're saying you're rebuilding your business. How long have you been doing it? And you know, what kind of success have you found so far? What triggered you to join and to try to rebuild the agency? Scratchable says, I was late. Is Figma for frames out yet? Oh, good question. Good question. Frames for Figma will be re-released in January. We just did a major update. I thought these things go away on their own. I'm just gonna have to make them go away on their own. We just released a major update. Tommy's done a phenomenal job with it. People are loving the new update, but we're not quite ready to publicly release it again yet. We are going to, just to kind of give you the roadmap here, it now has all frames available. It has, like, I can't even go, like, we'll be here forever if I talk. I'm going to do some videos on some of the key parts of it, so don't worry, right? But we are going to overhaul the frame site. We obviously have to get a landing page up for the frames for Figma side of things. And that's along with the UI overhaul that we're going to do. Those two things alone are going to take till January. Plus, we want to make sure that all of the new stuff that is in frames for Figma is just working really seamlessly and everybody really likes it and there's no bugs to iron out. And so just between now and January, that's what we're going to be kind of doing. And then we'll relaunch frames for Figma in January. What we're also going to start doing, I've talked to Tommy about, once a month, I will basically show the entire workflow. So I think this is going to be really awesome from an educational standpoint. Even if you're not a Frames for Figma user, it's going to be awesome from a educational standpoint. So what that would look like is this. We have like a sample project, okay? And I go into Figma and I do the wireframing for it. Using Frames for Figma, I do the wireframing. And then what I'm going to do, and I'm going to record that. If you refer to the Zendesk.com homepage series that I did, a lot of people love that. People are just asking more of that. Well, it's actually going to get even better than that. So we're going to go from scratch, okay? We're going to say, here's our example project. I'm going to wireframe it out using Frames for Figma. Then I'm going to pass it over to Tommy. Tommy is going to record the process of styling that, of doing the UI design, okay, in Figma. And you're going to be able to get to see that, right? Every step of that process and how he thinks about things and how he approaches UI design and how he manages that in Figma and starts from a frames wireframe perspective. Then he's going to pass the UI back to me and I'm going to build it in bricks. So you literally get to see the wireframing portion, then you get to see the UI portion, and then you'll get to see the dev portion. And we'll try to do that once every month. So once every month, and it's kind of going to be a homepage. We don't have to do like an entire site. Now, maybe instead of homepages all the time, we end up doing some sort of specific other inner page that might be super cool to see, like a detailed service page or a team member page or like something, right? Something different, something a little bit more unique. But you guys are going to get to see that entire process. And so that's going to be not in real time, it's not going to be like live or anything, but they'll be recorded just like the Zendesk.com series. But it's going to be really, really, really good. So that'll help you see the product in action. It'll also help you see the workflow in action. But even if you don't own the product, I mean, there's going to be a ton of stuff that you can, get out of that series for yourself. Okay, let's see. Yes, Andrea says it's time for another work with me session. I will, as soon as I get back to Atlanta, we will do another work with me session inside the inner circle. That's another thing that you get inside the inner circle that I've started doing a couple months ago that people really like. It's called a co-working with Kevin session. And literally what I do for the most part is I just turn on music and I work. Like I actually just work on real work. But I'm screen sharing, I'm live streaming inside the inner circle the entire time. And then I take breaks and people can ask questions, but it's not a teaching thing. It's just some people just like to watch other people work, like other people's, like, what's the process look like? What's real work look like versus like teaching work? So you get to do that, you get to watch that, and you get to interact and ask questions. And because I got to take breaks from time to time, and so I jump in the chat and talk to everybody. Plus, you can talk to other people in the chat, and sometimes people like to work alongside me. So instead of just sitting there watching me work, they can watch me here and there, but they also do work alongside me. And if they run into any sticking points, they can ask in the chat, and sometimes I jump in and show them a thing or two to help them out. Like, it's kind of a free-for-all, honestly, but it's a different kind of experience, and people really like it. Okay, so we did Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Let's move into talking about the R3 conference, and then we will move into Q&A and AMA. So the reason I'm down here in Sarasota right now is I was just over in Orlando, and I was speaking at the R3 Recurring Revenue Retreat. I'm actually going to pull this up on the page right here. So it's r3.live is the website. I think next year they're talking about doing this. They've always done it in Orlando, but I think next year they're talking about doing this in Arizona, which would be fantastic because if you guys know anything about me, I was born in Mesa, Arizona, and a lot of my family is in Phoenix. And so every opportunity that I can get, every excuse that I can get to fly out to Arizona, I take it. And so if they do this in Arizona next year, I will absolutely be there. But I was here as a speaker, and this is my first time at the Recurring Revenue Retreat. It's been going on, I don't know how many years they've been doing it now, but it does have a very dedicated group of attendees. And it was just a fantastic experience. I went to WordCamp in DC, and WordCamp is a big, it's not like some conferences are gigantic, right? But in terms of like the WordPress community or what we do, WordCamp US is fairly big. And, I got on a live stream with Jonathan and we did a recap of WordCamp, and the best part of WordCamp was all the networking that I was able to do. All the people I was able to meet and talk to in person and strategize with. And basically WordCamp US, the value was at the bar at 11 p.m. Like, if you're not at the bar at 11 p.m., you're not getting a lot of value out of WordCamp, okay? You go to the talks, I wasn't super impressed with the talks at WordCamp. We talked about that. The schedule at WordCamp is tough. There's a bunch of talks going on at the exact same time. So if there's two talks that you want to go to, which at WordCamp US, they weren't great, so you weren't missing a ton. But if they were really good, you wouldn't even be able to see some of them because there's like 4 talks going on at the exact same time in different rooms. You got to pick and choose which talk you want to go to. And if they were all really good talks, you would be very, very, very torn using that model. It felt like you needed tracks almost, like pick a topic and go through all the talks on that track. it's too much. There's too many people. So the other thing about it is like there's so many people that even if you're doing the networking, you feel like you have to be out till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. because there's always another person to talk to. There's always the next person to network with. Like there's so many people there. There's just always the next thing. And then you end up like completely drained. And I end up getting COVID after it because I was, drinking, staying up till like 2 a.m. in the morning, waking up at like 6 a.m. day after day after day. It's like 4 days in a row of this stuff. And so it's just really, really draining. And then it took me like 3, 4, 5 days to recover after I got back. The reason I'm telling you all of this is because the R3 retreat is completely different. Okay, so if a big conference like that kind of scares you a little bit, R3 is like the perfect thing for you. It's a much smaller conference. It's much more manageable. There's no overlapping talks. So literally you can see every single talk. You feel like, because there's not a whole like, army of people, you feel like you can do some networking and then go to bed, like at a reasonable hour. You're like, okay, like we're all going to head up at 11 p.m. and actually get some sleep at this conference. It's very well managed. The food that they served was absolutely fantastic, like really great lunches, really great dinners. They had an event on the two key nights. They had a speakers / sponsors event that I went to. It's a private dinner. And then the last night of the conference, they do a whole bowling thing. They rent out a bunch of lanes upstairs at this great place. It was at Disney Springs. And fantastic food catered to it. And we just all had a blast. Bowling, your boy won. Okay, I mean, it wasn't even like, come on. You didn't think that you were going to bowl with me and come out with the W, right? You didn't think that. Okay, so just had to throw that out there. But yeah, we had an amazing time, right? So R3, like if you're looking for a small, intimate conference that's manageable, that's not going to kill you, that you can actually do some good, and it's almost all agency owners and freelancers. That's probably an important part that I should say, right? Whereas WordCamp, I mean, you've got everybody and their mom is there. And I met a lot of people at WordCamp that were just sent there by the agency they work with, right? So it's just, I'm just a random marketer or I'm just a random WordPress user. At the R3 conference, everybody's an agency owner or a freelancer, probably mostly agency owners, because it's not super cheap, okay? Most of the people I met there that are agency owners are very successful agency owners, not beginners, more or less, right? So if you're there and you're networking with people, you're going to learn a lot. If you are a beginner, you're going to learn a ton. If you're an advanced kind of, have a larger agency or a more successful agency kind of situation, you're still going to learn a lot. You're going to get a lot of value. And here's the thing, okay? So the first half of the day, remember I said there's no overlapping talks, which is good. The first half of the day is talks. The second half of the day is mastermind sessions. It's what they call magic minds. But it's more or less just a mastermind session in person. So for 2 hours, you go into a room with a small group. So they break everybody out into small groups, and there's a facilitator in every single group. And basically everybody in the group gets an opportunity to say, here's what I'm struggling with in my agency right now. Here's what I need help with. Here's what I need a decision on, whatever. And then everybody in the room grills you. They ask you a series of questions trying to drill down into, what's causing this problem, how did this problem arise, whatever. And then everybody gets an opportunity to go through and, basically say, here's what I've done that has helped in this situation, or here's what I recommend you do, or here's what you can think about doing, yada, yada, yada. And this is a really, really, powerful opportunity for you that you don't get in a normal conference. So it's not all just listening to talks and taking notes and then trying to go back and implement stuff. It's half of the day is that. The other half of the day is literally like, here's the problem I'm having, and can you solve it for me? And you got a bunch of people, and like I said, they're a lot of them maybe have had a lot more success than you. And so you're hearing from people who are further along than you or at a higher level than you, giving you really, really, really valuable advice. So R3.live is the conference. The other thing that I would say about, the importance of conferences, we all work, and I've been to 2 conferences in the last 2 months now, okay, talking to a lot of people, and they all say the same thing. It is imperative that you get out from behind the computer and just go interact with people in real life who can relate to what you do. It's not like, you're talking to your spouse, you're talking to a friend, whatever. They don't know the situation you're in. They don't know anything about running an agency. They don't know anything about hustling online, staring at a computer all day with nobody else around you for the most part, right? Doing everything virtual. Most of the clients you meet with, probably it's on Zoom, it's on Google Meet. You're writing emails, you're chatting, right? You're in DMs. It's not face-to-face stuff. Face-to-face stuff is so valuable. You will come away from these conferences feeling really inspired and recharged. And well, not WordCamp. WordCamp, you will come away with WordCamp with COVID, feeling very tired and feeling like the talks weren't that great. But a great conference like the R3 conference, you will come away feeling recharged and motivated and inspired with really valuable steps that you need to take in your business to move things along and get to the next level. And just from a human to human standpoint, it's going to recharge your batteries. And you're going to meet a lot of great people. And it's people that you can continue a relationship with back to the internet, for probably years to come. And then you'll see them again at the next retreat. And then it's a really good way to build valuable relationships, okay? So if you are the kind of person who has not participated in any conferences yet, if you're like, I'm just going to do my work. I'm just going to keep my head down. Like, I don't need a conference. I don't need this. Or I know a lot of you are like, it's too expensive. I got the airfare. I got the ticket. I got to pay for a hotel there. And I don't know if I can cut it. Those expenses are a little too much. It's well worth the investment. Scrape the money together. It is well worth the investment. Okay? All right. So that's my talk about conferences. 2024 is coming up. Identify some conferences like this. There's Cabo Press in Cabo, Mexico. I'm gonna make a very, very strong attempt to be at Cabo Press. And if you don't know anything about Cabo Press, I've never been to Cabo Press before. All right, but I want to scroll down here. So Chris Lima was at this conference, and he runs Cabo Press, right? And so, I did a lot of, talking with Chris at this conference, and at 2024, 2023, this was the years where I said, because I've been like you, look, I'm an introvert, right? I've said this before, I'm more of an ambivert, right? So I can be more extroverted in certain situations, but by nature, I'm an introvert. And so at these conferences, like I want to go back to my room a lot of times. I got to recharge. I'm like, I can't be around people all the time. All right. I do have to recharge. My wife, completely the opposite. My wife is like, no, there's no alone time to be had. Like she needs to be around people always and often. Right. I'm the opposite. Right. I got to recharge if I'm around people for too long. But in, social situations, I can bring out an extroverted side if I want to. And so I guess they call that an ambivert, right? So anyway, talking to Chris, and 2023, 2024, I said, I've got to go out to more conferences. And obviously I want to start speaking at as many conferences as possible. But 2024 is coming up. This is an opportunity for you to get out of your shell a little bit, if that's you, or for you to finally say, you know what, I'm not going to worry about the money. I'm going to scrape it together. I'm going to make it happen. And I'm going to get to, at least one, maybe 2 conferences in 2024 and see how valuable they might be to me. And I bet you're going to find that they are very, very, very valuable. While we're here and just talking, good about people and relationships. So, Marcus was fantastic. Christina's one of the directors of R3. She is fantastic. Nathan, got to talk to him a lot. Lindsay, all just fantastic people, right? Tiago right here, he stood out to me. DearDesigner.com. This is, Tiago owns Dear Designer. And I had heard about it briefly, right? So for those of you who you don't really have a UI guy, you're not a UI guy, and you don't really have a UI guy. Okay, I was talking about, I'm not an affiliate of Dear Designer. They don't have an affiliate program. What I got to see though from Tiago, and I'll just be honest with you, I would not sign up for a service like this typically. I just have, it's like there's a bad connotation almost. And like, all right, it's like, you pay a monthly fee basically, and you get unlimited, unlimited design for whatever you need. It could be like business cards, it could be logos, it could be a website, it could be whatever you need. You can see on their pricing right here. I mean, it's not like dirt cheap or anything, right? $8.99 a month for the agency plan, $6.99 a month for the business plan. Here's all the stuff you get. I would typically shy away from doing something like this, but I went to this conference and I was able to talk to Tiago and I was able to hear his story and I was able to hear straight from him like how he thinks about quality, maintaining quality, and how they deliver things, and how he treats his staff, and how he like fires clients when clients mistreat his staff, right? He has very high standards for things. And it just like, hearing him talk about his journey and his process of building Dear Designer and the processes he's put in place and the way he manages it and the way he thinks about it, I was just really, really, really impressed. And so, for a service I normally wouldn't sign up for, like, I was like, man, not only am I probably going to sign up for this myself, I'm going to recommend it to people. And it is a situation where in R3, the R3 conference, they actually use Dear Designer for everything that they do, apparently. That's the vibe I got anyway. It's, if you're in a situation where you're not a UI designer, and we've talked about that before. If you're not a UI designer, stop doing UI design, okay? Let's leave that to the UI designers. And, but you don't necessarily like, I don't want to go recruit like a UI designer, and then do I have enough work to give them consistently? Are they going to stick with me, or are they going to get distracted, go off doing all this other stuff so they can pay their bills, and then they're not available when I need them, and that whole situation. If that's you, then you may want to give Dear Designer a look. And so you just sign up. Let's say you're paying $6.99 a month. By the way, guys, let's say if you're using this for UI design for websites, you should be charging, it could be like low end, maybe like super low end, like poverty end. Okay, $100 per screen, per screen for UI, right? Which is like homepage and then about page, another 100, and you just add it up like that. High end, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, right, per screen. So if you think about how much you could be charging for just, and this is just for web design, we're not even talking about like all the other stuff that they do that you can bill for. This should be you're getting way, way, way more than this in ROI. If you're playing your cards right and you've got your pricing set up right, this is more or less a drop in the bucket for UI design. The only question left is, are you getting good quality output from Dear Designer? And everybody I talked to and the vibe I got, it is. You can trust it. You can count on it. From what I can tell and what Tiago said, you basically kind of get a dedicated team. Like once a design team is assigned to you, it's the same people over and over and over again. So you're not like submitting a request and it's going to a completely different person that doesn't know anything about your business or what you've got going on. Like it's the same people that you're interacting with all the time. So give it a shot. That's all I can say. Give it a shot. It's a month-to-month thing. You don't have to like sign a contract or anything like that. But if you're in a situation where you need a designer, I just wanted to say, I was super impressed with Tiago and what he's got going on here. And I will almost certainly be signing up myself for a lot of various reasons. Okay, we can get out of here. We don't even need to be in here. Let's get back to, I need to get back to the chat. It's been a while since I've been in the chat. Okay. I have heard WordCamp US 2023 was not the best, but things ebb and flow. I've attended and or organized a few fantastic WordCamps. Let's not hate on WordCamps too much. No, I'm not hating on WordCamps in general. From what I've heard, the local WordCamps are really, really awesome. So if there's local WordCamps to you, absolutely go. I'll be going to local WordCamps, near me, and trying to speak at local WordCamps as well. It was just the WordCamp US that I wasn't impressed with. And it's not that it was, I got the vibe that like somebody in that organization is heavily curating talks. And it's almost like I told Jonathan, I mean, we all kind of agreed. It was like, I want to see the talks that were rejected. Like, if these were the ones that were like, I get the feeling that like some of the spicier talks, some of the more meaningful, more valuable talks, but maybe that aren't in 1,000% alignment with Mr. Matt's vision or whatever. I mean, let's be honest. Like he doesn't like page builders. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. I think he wishes all page builders would die tomorrow. Okay, and so if there's any talks related to specific page builders or page building that doesn't involve Gutenberg, I don't really think he's interested in it. And I think somebody's got a hand in basically not allowing talks on certain subjects and topics. And so I just think it was the curation of the talks, whatever's happening behind the scenes, that killed the value in WordCamp US. If that's like, that's a conspiracy theory I'll throw out there. That's just the vibe I got. And it's not a great vibe. So now the local WordCamps, I don't think that's happening. So I think you are much more likely to get value out of local WordCamps for sure. So I'm not talking bad about WordCamps in general. Just WordCamp US 2023, the one that I went to, was not super impressed with that. And for that reason, I feel like it was too manipulated. And there's too much politics going on. If I had to guess, that would be my guess. Okay, I've used Dear Designer before. Took longer to explain what needed to be done and how for them to do it properly than to just do it myself. That's the thing with any designer, honestly. Like you do have to be good at communicating. You do have to know exactly what needs to be communicated. And for example, with needing a UI design, if you just are like, hey, I have a request for a UI design for a website, here's some example sites, here's the client's requirements, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it may take you a lot to explain. It may take you a few rounds of iterations to get to something that you actually like. But if you're able to hand them wireframes, and I talked to Tiago about this, and he's like, listen, our biggest challenge is that people don't know how to talk to designers. Like they don't know how to prepare, for the design to happen correctly. So they scratch notes on a napkin. They sent it's a mess, and we know that we get requests from our own clients all the time. Like, here's my ideas for the site. And it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, come on now. So you do have to know how to communicate to a design team. But he was like, dude, if you hand our team wireframes, like they will absolutely love you. He's like, almost nobody does that. And so and that's part of a professional process, right? So I think if you hand them wireframes and you give them some basic guidelines on what you want the UI to look like, then it should be a good result. Now, again, I haven't personally used them. This is just the vibe that I got, and I've seen the work that they did for other people, okay? And there's a ton of people using them, and literally everybody at R3 was like, yes, Dear Designer's awesome. So I'm just going on what I've heard so far. I will, again, try it personally, and I will see what the outcome is. But that's the vibe that I get. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's scroll up a little bit. We are into Q&A now, right? So any questions you have, it's Q&A, AMA, ask me anything. But Josh Hall referred me to you at WordCamp DC, so I guess it was still worth it. Well, like I said, the people that you're going to meet at WordCamp is the best part. And so, like I said, the best part of WordCamp US was at the bar at 11 p.m. In the case of Josh Hall, I ran into Josh in the museum. What was it? The Smithsonian Museum. So one of the cool things about WordCamp US was final evening, they basically rented out a large portion of the Smithsonian Museum. So we're actually, all of our WordCampers, we're like going through a dark museum, like with no other people. It's like we had the Smithsonian Museum all to ourselves. Absolutely fantastic experience. And that's where I ran into Josh Hall. And then next thing you know, we had already had the podcast I did with Josh. If you haven't heard, I did a podcast episode with Josh. He's got a great podcast, great guy. Highly recommend you go listen to that. We had already had that scheduled, but then it got rescheduled. Then I saw him at WordCamp, and then I think we ended up recording shortly after WordCamp. But Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's the value you get out of WordCamps. Like I can't tell you how many amazing people and really valuable just from a business perspective, a lot of the networking that I was able to do at WordCamp. But by far, the best part of it was the private parties, the private, Elementor's crew will throw a party, GoDaddy will throw a party, this company over here will throw, Kinsta will throw a party, something like that. So the private parties and the networking at the bars, right? That was the most valuable aspects of this particular WordCamp. Okay, let's see here. Okay. I used to attend the Microsoft conferences. Cost was over $5,000. No meals, no hotel. $1,700 for R3 is cheap. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Very, very affordable for what you get, for sure. Guys, you like $1,700. Just the mastermind aspect of it. If you actually have like business challenges and you want to kick in the ass, you want a swift kick in the ass from people who are ahead of you, above you, like they can give you really, really valuable advice. Not only are you getting the talks, but you're getting that mastermind experience and your hotel all paid for the $1,700 that he just mentioned includes the hotel. Okay, so like all of that buttoned up in $1,700 is tremendous value. Did you see the Termageddon team at R3? I absolutely did. Hung out with them. They were bowling in the lane next to me. Funny thing. So she, it's a two-part team, right? She was one of the only people with a umbrella in Orlando. We go to the speakers dinner. The night of the speakers dinner, it was speakers and sponsors, private dinner for speakers and sponsors. And it's raining all day. Guys, I'm in Florida all the time. It almost never, it'll rain, but it's a afternoon shower kind of situation. It's like it pours for like an hour and then it's done. And then it's just back to being sunny and warm and bright and all that. Okay, so I get to Orlando. It's raining when I get to Orlando, like the whole day. And then the next day, it's raining. And then the next day, it's rain. It would not stop. It was relentless. There was no it's not like hurricanes coming. It was just rain. You rarely see that. And they said for the 3 weeks before the conference, it had been all sunshine, like no rain whatsoever. So anyway, they've got this speakers sponsored dinner plan. So we get shuttled over to Disney Springs. And when you get off the shuttle, there's no cover. So you have to walk. And Disney Springs is quite large. It's like an outdoor, there's restaurants and shops and all this stuff, right? And so we're literally huddled under some umbrellas, and there was only a few umbrellas, so we're all huddled. And we're literally walking a quarter mile or a half mile or something, huddled under umbrellas. It didn't really matter. We were all soaked by the end. But I was under the Termageddon umbrella, okay? Because they were one of the only ones with an umbrella. So I literally was under the getting soaked under the Termageddon. We'll call it the Termageddon sponsored umbrella on the way to that event. But I also met them at WordCamp as well. So you got to. I'm telling you, you got to. It's a great part of attending these events. And if you did attend these events, you bump into me, and then I could smoke you. I could absolutely smoke you at bowling, and we would all have a fantastic time. Okay, let's see here. How can I efficiently design a WordPress website that caters to 2 different locations, providing unique and location-specific info while maintaining a cohesive UX under a single domain? Well, 2 different locations, providing unique info. I mean, sounds to me, it's pretty standard. Pretty standard. I mean, this is what every multi-location business does for the most part. I would probably ask you a little bit more about what you mean by unique and location-specific info. That's a little bit, maybe there's an interesting little twist there that complicates things, but maybe not. Maybe it just ends up being a very, very standard thing. So Fusion Plus TV, if you want to expand on that, is there anything beyond that that's I'm trying to wonder what the hard part of that is that you're having trouble with, right? Your locations would be a CPT. So you have one location, then you add your other location to the CPT. You have a locations page. Each location has its own overview page. You could bidirectionally relate blog posts to a specific location. You can bidirectionally relate team members to a specific location. You can bidirectionally relate FAQs to a specific location. Services can be bidirectionally related to a specific location. If you have a services CPT, you would do all this with CPTs. Team members is CPT, services is CPT, FAQs are a CPT. That's all very standard and straightforward though. Is there any other challenge that we haven't discussed yet about this that you're concerned about? That would be my follow-up question to you. He says, imagine I'm doing similar thing like in the UK and another in the US. Well, what kind of business is it? Is this like there's just office locations, but you serve the entire world and people don't actually come into the office? Is it a thing where people actually have to physically show up at the location? I guess that would be the next follow-up question. So that's the thing about strategizing like this. It's always like we need more and more and more details. The answer to almost everything in web design, as we all know, right? Let's do a pop quiz. What is the answer that you will almost always see to every question in web design? It's not a trick question. It's not a trick question. And I know it's a very vague question, but the answer is very vague. People actually make fun of it all the time. Just pop it in the chat if you know. We'll just do a little fun pop quiz. What's the answer to that, to almost any question in web design? It's 2 words, by the way. Just to give you a no, it's not CPT. That's not the answer. The answer, I will give it to you in just a second. Does ACSS version 3 will be launched in January? It is a it's a massive overhaul. It's a massive change in workflow. And because of this, I cannot put a timeline on it. Would I love for it to be released in January? Oh, yes. I would love for it to be released in January, but I can't make any promises. Fusion TV says it's an event. I mean, if it's an event, I think yes, there you go, guys. It depends. It depends. That is the that is the go-to answer in web design. We organize events yearly, one for Europe and another one for Africa. Same kind of event, but need different information. That's totally under one website, all day. Very easy to do. Yeah, it's just CPTs. It's CPTs. I don't think you have to do anything crazy because really. So if it's an event, you would have an event CPT. I don't think you even need a location CPT. Even if the event is in the same location every single, what you wouldn't want to do is you wouldn't want to create a location CPT in that capacity because it feels to me like you would lock yourself into a specific location. Did you put so Europe and another for Africa? Okay, let's say it's South Africa or something. And so you put South Africa in the location CPT. That's not really the type of thing, right? The type of thing is not a location. The type of thing is an event. So you would want to create an events CPT. What is the event called? Give it a name. And it happens to exist in South Africa right now, but it could exist anywhere. We can move that event to somewhere else. Whereas if you have a location CPT and you create a South Africa location and try to put an event page together there, if that event ever moves, you now have a CPT called South Africa and a URL that's no longer relevant to anything or anybody, right? So what you're creating is an event. So the CPT is for events. That's it. And then you basically have a landing page for every single event. And it doesn't matter where it's located. That's the way I would approach it. What about Translate Press or a tool like that? Let me, yeah, we can leave that up. Okay, that's fine. What about Translate Press or a tool like that with auto sensing where traffic is coming from? English grammar is not the same for US and UK. Yeah, there's plugins that can absolutely do that for you. I don't have a lot of experience for them because I don't do a lot of multilingual websites, but I'm sure that there's somebody on here who can make a recommendation for you. Or there's somebody in the inner circle. Absolutely. I mean, you post that in the inner circle. The inner circle is insanely diverse, right? There are people from everywhere. This is not a situation where it's like, I wouldn't even say it's majority US. Like it's vast majority are from other places, right? And there's a lot of people doing multilingual sites. Like you post something like that in the inner circle, I think you're going to get a lot of really good recommendations. When is the header builder element from frames going to be ready? I thought that was going to be our Christmas present. That's not your Christmas present. No, I am working on a Christmas present for everybody in the inner circle. It is not the header builder for frames. It's actually, my team doesn't even really know anything about it. It's something I'm working on myself. It's something that could end up being a product at some, well, I'm not going to give too many more details. I'm not going to give too many more details, but you guys are going to get, it's going to, I think you're going to really, really, really like it. If you're a frames user, you're going to like it even more. But you don't have to be a frames user. You don't necessarily have to be an automatic CSS user. Can I give more details without giving, I will say you need to be a WS form user. I don't think that gives too much away. You have to be a WS form user. But you should be already. I mean, if you're not a WS form user, I don't know what you're doing with your life, honestly. So, if you have WS form, you are going to like the Christmas gift. I can't spill it yet. I'm still working out some details. We're getting close though. It's going to be very valuable. Like you're going to really, really like it. It's something that is going to really enhance your business. And so if you're an agency freelancer kind of situation, you're going to like it. I think you're going to like it. Okay. I'm wondering when frames for Figma will be launched. Okay. We already talked about that. That's going to be launched in January. That's our target date for that. Let's see. Regarding clamp functions, I'm having trouble seeing it work in Internet Explorer, of course. Is there a fix, or should I exclude Internet Explorer users? You should absolutely exclude Internet Explorer users. This is not a situation. IE doesn't even exist anymore. It's not even officially supported by Microsoft. It's dead. It's done. We've moved on. The entirety of the internet has moved on. If anybody is still on Internet Explorer, not only are they probably undergoing massive security vulnerabilities, it is what it is. Like nobody designs for IE anymore. Okay, what's coming in the inner circle till end of year? Oh, you mean like trainings? What trainings are coming in the inner circle? You can always go to Geary.co. I do my best to keep this updated. Inner circle roadmap. I know I'm not screen sharing. Just give me a second. I gotta get back to Ecamm screen, and then I gotta hit this button, and then I gotta go back here. Okay, I should be screen sharing now. All right, so how to dominate local search with service area pages part 2. That actually was released. That was just released already. So I got to update that. Oh, how to run a technical SEO audit. That was released as well. So those two are this one right here is another one that will literally add tens of thousands of dollars in revenue to your agency. Like just go watch this training right here and do what I say to do. It's actually it kind of goes with the discovery trainings that I've done. But I cover the 3 ways that this is going to increase your revenue and the results that you're getting for your client, by the way. But literally, like if you haven't watched this yet, go run to the inner circle and go watch this. It's like it will almost overnight. The next lead that you get, you will make at least $1,000 more, probably multi-$1,000 over the course of the proposal that you put together for them. Tens of thousands of dollars easily could be for one client if it's a big client. But, it's, 2, 3, 4 clients down the road, you're easily in the tens of thousands of dollars. So I would just go run and watch that if you haven't yet. How to create a dynamic event management system is a series that's ongoing right now. You see over here, it says ongoing. I've got a 3rd episode coming out in December for that. Sadly, I've looked into it. I've done everything I possibly can. People requesting recurring events, it is beyond the scope of that kind of system that we are putting together. So we won't be doing recurring events, but there's a lot of other requests that people have made that we will be implementing. And so part 3 will be coming out in December for that. Start to finish keyword targeting with article content is going to be coming out in December. And then I've got a couple things that are not on this list that I need to add that will likely be coming out December and January as well. Plus that tool that I'm building for you that will be a good Christmas gift. So that's kind of the plan between now and the end of the year. Okay, let's go back to Ecamm. Maybe I can make my way back here. Okay. Question, what does your hat say? It says Travis Martin. I really like, I'm not going to see, I got headphones on. I'm not going to take it off. I have a lot of Travis Martin hats. Not necessarily because I don't even know who Travis Martin is necessarily, but damn, they fit really good. They're really comfortable hats. I just really like them. And I can get them easily on Amazon. I do have, what's the other brand I like? Melon. I like Melon hats. There's a few different brands of hats that I like. Let's see. Recurring events is hard, needs separate CPT for instances, but tightly integrated multi-CPTs is fun. Yeah, and I don't even know. I mean, I feel like in a lot of ways that just completely obliterates the data. Like, I don't know. It's really, it's not as hard necessarily to just make an event recurring where a lot of the complication comes in, because a lot of people think like, oh, I just need recurring events. I hate these laptop cameras, by the way. It's like... If you don't want to look straight down on your camera, people have to look up at you. Anyway, what I was saying is making an event. People think, oh, I want recurring events. You just have to take the event and make it recurring on an interval. It's like, no, that's not all you have to do. Because you know what then they say is, I want the ability to go choose an instance of the event and delete it without affecting the others. Hey, oh, that's not so easy anymore, is it? I want to go change the date of a one-off event or change the time of a one-off event. Like basically remove it from the series and edit it or whatever. So this kind of thing adds a lot of complications. It's like when we talk to clients, you know, the idea they have in their head seems super simple. And then they start saying, but it needs to do this and it needs to do this and it needs to do this. And now it's not obviously not so simple anymore. And so the point of the event series, by the way, was, hey, you don't need a big, gigantic event management system for a lot of things. So like I'm doing a gym client right now. They need an event system. They don't need recurring events. They don't need a lot of fancy stuff. They just need a simple way to manage events and display them on the website and use some basic faceting like to show me events in a specific category or at a specific price point or anything like that, and to be able to sign up for something. That's all manageable without a giant plugin for events, right? And so I'm showing people how to build that natively in WordPress just using advanced custom fields and WP Grid Builder for facets. And we go through the whole entire process. And yeah, we're going to put like a calendar integration in there. Like that's one of the next things that we're going to do. But we don't have to go crazy with like a whole recurring event system that you can then tightly manage and granularly edit and all this stuff. Like that's beyond the scope of what we're trying to do. If you need all that stuff, then yeah, by all means, go buy an event management plugin that does all of that for you. The point of the series was to teach people how to do simple event management so that you don't need a big plugin that's overkill for a lot of clients. Justin says, I'm getting Pi Calendar to see how far that will get me with things. I have a Pi Calendar license. I'm going to be testing it out, probably doing a video on it very soon. Would you recommend the Events Calendar plugin, Jonathan, Pi Calendar or something else? I've used the Events Calendar. I've used a lot of them. The thing is, you know, they're all decent, right? A lot of them feel like overkill for most use cases. If you don't need really advanced stuff going on, most of them are just bloat and overkill. And so it's good to just be able to kind of build your own when you need it. And by the way, the one that I'm showing how to build, I would recommend having a blueprint for it. It's like, here's my normal blueprint, and then here's my blueprint for clients who need events. And you spin up that blueprint and it's got your own little custom event management system already ready to go. So you don't have to rebuild it for every client that needs events. It's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have. Let's see this question here. Regarding events, non-recurring, does the inner circle touch on disappearing buttons depending on date? Say the event already passed, so the ticket button needs to turn into no longer. Yes, yes, yeah. We talk about all that kind of logic, hiding past events and loops. Yeah, all of that stuff. You can hide buttons, you can disable buttons, you can do whatever you want to do. What are the next frames you are going to release? What about a sticky card frame? We just did, let's see, getframes.io/frames. Should pull up the library here. I just did this one that I like, CTA section hotel. It's a pretty good one. You can use that for, that's kind of like, that's like a user's profile over here, but you can actually just put any kind of photos over there. We got article card Juliet. I noticed we didn't have any, we were limited on some wide format article cards. So I just put this grid in here. So that's a good one. I just use these. So this shows you how frames, you know, let's go to automaticCSS.com. I wonder if I might have, oh yeah, I'm not screen sharing again. Hang on. 1, 2, and then back. Okay. I'm cookied out of it. Let me go to an incognito window. Here we go. So see this little strip at the top right here? Don't miss our Black Friday Pro Plan offer. See the deal. And then I can actually close this if I want to dismiss it, basically. And then I can refresh and I revisit the site. So I'm hard refreshing right now. Notice it's not coming back, okay? That's a frame. That's a frame. And so, you know, it would have taken me a little bit of time to put that together for the frame side and then for the ACSS side. Nah, I just went and got notification alpha. It's notification alpha, added it in like 2 seconds, customized the colors, moved on with my life. It's already got the logic for dismissing it with the close button, storing that preference in local storage so that when the user comes back, they don't see it again. All of that's already done for you, right? So there's an example of a frame that, you know, I was able to just, hey, here we are, Black Friday. I need a little notification bar at the top that is able to be hidden and stores the user's preference. Well, it's right there as a frame, notification alpha. There's always more frames in development. I'm traveling right now, so off the top of my head, I don't know what's coming next, but as soon as I get back, another batch will be released. I know there's some good stuff in the works. We just got to button some things up here and there. But yeah, it's always new stuff coming in the frames library. Question, cookies, GDPR, accessibility, how to sell it when clients feel they can just get away with not having these. No fines, no issues in their minds. I don't sell accessibility. Now the cookies GDPR stuff, that's just sold with a legal policy. So now we're in Termageddon land, right? Termageddon, you go to Termageddon, you get a, you can use my affiliate link or not use my affiliate link. I don't really care. But Termageddon supplies you with all the legal policies that your clients need for their website. And in doing that and implementing that, and you, by the way, just make that part of your monthly management fee, like your care plan or whatever. That's exactly what I do. So the legal policies, the cookie notices, all of that is all provided by Termageddon. So that's taken care of, right? Accessibility. I bake the cost of accessibility into the pricing for a project because we build accessible websites. Like we focus on accessibility in our process. And so you're just automatically paying for that. Now I will say, you know, when you're building from scratch, like a custom website, or you're using frames, accessibility is a big part of frames. A lot of it is already done for you. Obviously the end user has to, you know, like we're not choosing your colors, for example. So things like color contrast, that's something you have to manage on your own. But if you're doing that from scratch, it's much more affordable than taking a site that is absolute dog doo-doo and built in like Element or Divi, and a client's like, we need this to be accessible. Well, dog, that's expensive. That's expensive. But if you're building from scratch in something like bricks and you're building accessibility in along the way, that's not super expensive. Just bake that extra knowledge and that extra quality into your pricing from the jump, and you're good to go. And you don't even have to like just tell your client, by the way, We care a lot about accessibility. We focus on it and we build that in automatically to your website. Now, ongoing accessibility, accessibility is an ongoing thing. So someone needs to be doing accessibility audits like every 6 months. You can do an accessibility audit or quarterly, however you want to manage it. That again should be baked into your monthly management fee. And these are all reasons why that monthly management fee or your care plan, whatever you want to call it, needs to be on the higher end of things. You should not be charging like $39 a month for maintenance and care plans and stuff like that. You should be probably minimum $99 a month, $199 a month. You should have some different tiers. I'm going to do a whole write-up I'm going to put it on the blog because this is like a mission critical thing. I could put it in the inner circle, right? Lock it away behind the paywall, okay? But I'm not going to do it. I feel like just from a fundamental, like even responsibility standpoint, a lot of these agencies out here, if you don't have a care plan and you don't have a good care plan and you're not approaching this the way you should be approaching it, it actually harms your clients as well. And it harms the industry. And so I feel like I'm just going to do a write-up on the blog so it's available to anyone and everyone on like how to structure your care plans, why they should be structured this way, what to charge for them, how to sell them. I'm going to do a whole it's going to be the ultimate guide to like care plans. And I'm not the only one that's obviously, talked about this and produced content around it, but a lot of people do want my perspective on it. And I do think that there's a lot of things missing from a lot of care plans that people are offering. So I'm just going to put my 2 cents into the pot. And I'll do that on the Geary.co blog. It's actually, I already started drafting it. So it's not like an idea I just came up with. It's one that's already kind of in the works. But I will be publishing that as soon as possible. Okay, where did Ecamm go? I hate not having 2 monitors. Absolutely hate it. Will there be a follow-up series to PB 101? No, there will not be. And let's talk about why. There will not be a 201. There will not be a 301. There will not be, here's the thing. PB 101 is already, first of all, it's very hard. It's very hard to organize a course on what we do. And actually, Kevin Powell talked about this not long ago because he's done some courses as well on like CSS. And I've done courses on like JavaScript, for example. And I almost always feel like, and I'll just tell the story of learning Sass because this is a good example. So originally automatic CSS was built in vanilla CSS. It's just like, here's a style sheet, vanilla CSS all the way, start to finish, which by the way, people talk about creating their own framework or whatever. If you try to create a CSS framework in vanilla CSS, you are a psychopath. As I was a psychopath. Back when I did it. It is absolutely a situation for Sass, okay? It is not a vanilla CSS kind of situation. But I wrote the first version in vanilla CSS and quickly realized I'm an absolute psychopath for trying to do this, that I need to rewrite this. It has to all be rewritten in Sass. I didn't know Sass at the time. So what do? Do you do a course on Sass? What do you do? Well, no, for me, the best way to learn, and I think the best way for all of us to learn in essence, beyond the very basics, is to tackle a project. That is the best way to learn. So if I'm going to learn JavaScript, I tried the whole let me do module 1, let me do module 2, let me do module 3 of JavaScript. And it's always like they're trying to teach you these concepts, but in what we do, there's no linear path to learning. There just isn't. Just think about CSS is the easiest thing to learn, right? What do you learn first? Well, you need to learn that there's this thing called IDs and these things called classes. You need to know how the fundamentals of how those things work. But then what do you do with the classes? How do you style them? What do you need to learn first? I mean, in some situations, you need to know what font size does. And then you go down the font size rabbit hole. That's a rabbit hole on its own, right? Because there's rims. You could do it in IMS. But if you do it in IMS, you're a psychopath. So we have to learn why you wouldn't want to do it in IMS. But then we learn this thing called clamps. It's fluid responsive typography. And now we're down a clamp rabbit hole. But in order to understand clamps, you have to understand VH units. You have to, and now we're in the VH rabbit hole. Like, do you see how there's no linear, like, just learn this thing, then you can learn this thing. Anything that you try to learn has like 8 other things that you have to learn sprouting off of it. So because there's no linear path, it's very hard to put a course together. I put the best possible course that I could put together for PB 101. But beyond that, people are like, well, we need a 201. You don't need a 201. You know what you need to do? You need to learn concepts, one-off concepts, okay, that are 201 level or 301 level or 401 level or however you want to structure it. But you just have them available as one-off training so that when people are working on real-world projects and they're like, shit, I don't know how to do this, they can go find that specific training and learn how to do it. Now they know how to do it. And that's how you learn. Beyond the fundamentals, beyond the basics, you learn by doing real projects. And when you run into a sticking point, and so when I was doing SaaS, right? So I was like, okay, got the fundamentals of SaaS down. So I'm going to get started and I'm doing a real project called automatic CSS. And then I run into a situation where I'm like, ooh, this needs what's called a loop. How does a loop work in SaaS? Now guess what I do? I go off and I learn how loops work. Then I come back and I build the loop. And now it's like I'm putting pieces together. Okay. Then I get to this next section and it's like, oh, well, this needs a different kind of math variable. Okay, got to figure out how to do that in SaaS. So I go off and solve that problem. Now that's in the knowledge bank. Okay, then I come over here and I say, oh, this maybe could be done with SaaS extend. Oh, what's that? Okay, got to go off into that rabbit hole, find that piece. Okay, bring that into the knowledge bank. Oh, now we need a function in SaaS for what we're trying to do. How do functions work in SaaS? Got to go learn functions. So whatever I'm running into, that's the piece I'm going to find education around and then putting that in my knowledge bank. There is no like 201 course that just linearly teaches you how to go to the next level. It's always pieces of information that you got to pull in, put in your knowledge bank, put in your toolbox, and then as you continue to practice and implement and execute, your toolbox grows and your knowledge bank expands and you get better and better and better. And that's the best way to learn. Best way to learn is by tackling actual real world projects. So you don't need, if you watch PB 101, the idea was you watch PB 101, you build along with it, then you tackle a real project, and most of the stuff you're going to run into in the real project is going to be talked about in PB 101. So you go back to the necessary lessons that you need to brush up on, and then anything beyond that is handled by one-off trainings in the inner circle, like event management training, for example, okay? You're like, hey, my client needs events. Well, great, here's an event. We can't be like, well, in 301, stop what you're doing because we don't cover events until 301, right? That's the linear progression that you have to, no, it's not. It's whatever you need at the time. You need real-time learning. That's what you need. So you just need a library of trainings that you can go into and say, that's the topic I need right now. Teach me on it. It's not a course. It's just one-off trainings. That's what the inner circle is. That's the library of trainings that you can just go in and be like, that's the thing I need right now. And you access it, you learn it, and you move on with your life. So yeah, that's the approach that I would take. I'm moving from Bootstrap to Tailwind CSS. Are you custom coding? Where are you building sites? Because this could be a good move if you are custom coding things. But if you're working in a page builder, I would say that I would rethink your strategy. If we want to say that the most polite way possible. Tailwind is a nightmare in page builders, an absolute nightmare. Let's see. Okay, I'm very thankful for your efforts to create PB 101. It's a great series. Thank you. I appreciate it. I saw you switch from Calendly to LatePoint. Any drawbacks? None so far. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be improved with LatePoint, but I've talked a lot with Adam, and I have faith in a lot of this, basically everything that they do. SureCart, SureMembers, now LatePoint, right? So LatePoint was just acquired. I guess partially acquired is the most accurate thing to say. But I really, really do like where LatePoint is at right now. And I know it's only going to get better and better and better. And so I want to be in on the ground floor, right? And so that's kind of where we're at right now. Let's see here. Go up. I got about 15, 20 more minutes, and then we'll probably wrap this thing up. I got really good turnout today, which is fantastic. Turn your ACSS Black Friday banner red or bright green. I don't know. I mean, I could. I think people are going to find it. I think it's easy. I think it's easy enough. Can you talk about your come-up story? You have mentioned that you suffered a lot, and it's awesome to see you doing well. I find it motivating. Would love to hear more stories. Well, I have a lot of them. I mean, it depends on what angle you want to discuss from. I don't want to rehash exactly what we talked about on the last live stream. If you want to go back to the live, I think it was toward the very end of the last live stream, because we were talking about mentality, right? We were talking about, I believe we were talking about poor versus broke, right? And the mentality difference between those two things. And then I shared a little bit about my experiences with being broke. So I don't know. I think we should, if you have any specific questions, I might be able to answer them, but I would point people to the end of that live stream. It was the live stream before this one. Okay, let's see. Are there any other tools, bricks, ACSS, frames, and inner circle? Are there any other tools I need to be able to redo my local business website? As a dad of 3 girls, I appreciate the work you put into this. No. I mean, bricks, ACSS, and frames, and that's pretty much all you need. Well, I mean, advanced custom fields. You can look at my stack, go to my bricks blueprint, but a lot of that is not like necessary. Look at the stack that I used for the Zendesk.com homepage. Bricks, automatic CSS, frames, advanced custom fields. Literally, that's all that's installed on that site. So that's a very minimal stack. And I was still able to do, what was I able to do on that Zendesk.com homepage? The multi-synced tab slider situations, all the loops, all the, like everything that's, it's not a simple homepage. Everything that was done there was just done with that stack. Very, very minimal stack. So yeah, you don't need a lot. That is the good thing. Have you tried Amelia? My team's tried Amelia for a client. I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people that used Amelia. I mean, I know it's powerful, but like the customization aspect of it is very, very difficult, which is actually a knock on Late Point right now as well. Like it's not easy to customize Late Point. But what I do know is, because I talked to Adam, it's on the top of their to-do list. Like they want it to be much more, very easy to customize. And SureCard is very easy to customize. So, you know, I have no doubt that they will make that happen with Late Point as well. Isn't Inner Circle the same prices as it was before your offer? Well, we talked about that at the beginning of the stream. The price is about to go up. So this is your last chance to lock in the current prices. Is this on Inner Circle or YouTube, the videos? Which videos are you talking about? Ground Pets. That's an interesting little name. Okay, I got to get down to more recent questions here. Let's go all the way down. Okay. Do you have any insider info from Thomas about the native facets progress in bricks? Unfortunately not. I don't have any insider info from Thomas on anything. Thomas, I'm not sure is a real person. He could be AI. Never met him, never seen him, never seen a video of him, I don't even know if I've seen a photo of Thomas. Thomas could be like an Elon Musk, like, you know, he could be like a robot. He could be like he could be a Tesla robot, like the first model. I don't know anything about Thomas. I wish I did. I wish there was more transparency there. I invited him on the channel. He said he's too busy. Like I wanted to get him on a stream or an interview or something. I wanted to talk to him, pick his brain. I wanted to see what his vision is for bricks, what his philosophy is on various things. That's why I will say this, you know, quickly, I'm quickly becoming a bigger fan of Quickly. I don't like the name Quickly. But I do like Quickly as a product, and I do like Lewis from Quickly. not the other Lewis. Don't get us confused. Don't get our Lewises confused, okay? I'm a big fan of the Lewis from Quickly. And one of the things that and you guys know me. I mean, here I am every single Wednesday. Here I am on the ACSS channel doing live streams on ACSS, doing Q&A, painting a picture, talking about vision, talking about philosophy, talking about process, talking about anything you guys want to talk about. I am very, very big on transparency. Very big on transparency, very big on I feel like if you're buying into a product like automatic CSS, like frames, you should absolutely be able to know the philosophy, the vision, all of it. The founder, it should all be made available to you. Quickly is doing a great job at that. They're doing live streams. Lewis is on camera, face to face, talking about philosophy, answering objections, answering questions, talking about the future of Quickly, talking about what does he want to do with it? Where is it going to go? What's coming next? He's doing a fantastic job with that. As far as transparency goes, Quickly beats Bricks in that department by a long shot. I wish Thomas did more of it, okay? So, if you're grading the page builders, you got to give that win to Quickly over there. Components. Quickly was the first one with component. Got to give them a win there, right? There's a lot of things to like about Quickly. Quickly's my number 2 right now, by the way. Oxygen has slipped again. It has slipped again. Oxygen slipped out of number 1 because of Bricks, and now it's slipped out of the number 2 spot because of Quickly, and it is nestled in the number 3 spot at the current time. I saw Jira in your bookmarks. Man, what is going on? I don't know. There's I don't know what you guys can say. Okay, are we putting these things in the right places? Sarah Martin, hey, Sarah can fly around here. I saw Jira in your bookmarks tab. Are you switching away from Basecamp? Not for agency stuff. Not for agency stuff. We had to switch. I tried to make Basecamp work on the development side of things for automatic CSS and frames and all that. And we made it work for as long as possible. Basecamp is not really for software development workflows, in my opinion, and Mateo's opinion. And so we switched to Jira for automatic CSS and frames stuff. But all my agency stuff is still in Basecamp. And I still highly, highly, highly recommend Basecamp and they changed their pricing back again. So go check that out. I think it's much more manageable now for smaller agencies. But yeah, I'm still with Basecamp for that stuff. I emailed the other Lewis with questions on how he'll move forward in current issue stances he's taken because I was actually considering buying Breakdance. Well, did you get a response? Spill the beans. What did he say? Did you get a response? I mean, that Lewis is not it's not like he's not transparent. I mean, I don't know. He did say Breakdance will not have XYZ, and then, Breakdance has XYZ. So if that's a knock on, I don't know. I don't know why that happened. I mean, you could just argue that he changed his mind, right? It's not that he lied. It's he just changed his mind, I guess. I don't know. Menu builder time frame. I don't know. The thing with the menu builder, the challenge with that is that our resources are all the Death Star is pointed at ACSS 3.0 right now, right? All resources, all hands on deck is ACSS 3.0 right now. You say that we can replace Bricks extras with frames, but will frames have dynamic charts and X-ray mode? Don't know what X-ray mode is. Have never needed an X-ray mode, whatever it is. So no, it probably won't have that. Dynamic charts. I've never needed to put a chart on a website in all my years. I mean, it sounds fun. It's okay, yeah. How often are you going to use it? That's the thing, right? Is there a charts plugin that I could quickly get to make it happen? Do I really need it to be part of frames? What we focus on is the fundamental stuff you use over and over and over and day in and day out. And that's really what we focus on. I think there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of stuff that it's I don't know. Yeah, Lottie files. I've never used a Lottie file in my life. I mean, it's kind of cute. It's that's cute. It's cute. Never had a client request a Lottie file. Are we really making money with Lottie files? If somebody can make a case for like, dude, you're leaving thousands of dollars on the table because you didn't use a Lottie file, no, then I'll take note. I'll take note. But like, and it kind of goes back to, I never did it. I should have done the rant episode on the websites that win design awards. There's websites that win design awards. They're all absolutely fucking atrocious. Every single one of them. Like in terms of UX, like user experience and probably conversions, absolutely atrocious. It's like I'm in the business of building websites that make money for my clients. Like I'm in the business of websites that rank, websites that generate an ROI, websites that convert like crazy, websites where we know, let's all be on the same page, that copy is the most important thing. Okay? So it's like, will it have Lottie files? Will it have cute little cursors? Will it have that? None of this stuff makes us any more money. Now, a modal makes us a crap load of money. Okay, like, you're able to pop up various stuff in modals. They're very important. Modals are very important. That's something we focus on in frames. We focus on a lot of stuff that's very valuable. A mega menu builder that's accessible, that makes your life really easy. Get what you want done with your mega menu or your just standard menu. Hey, that's ROI right there. That's ROI right there. That's something we're going to focus on. And I could ask people, it's like, would you rather us, let's say for frames, let's all take a vote right now. What do you guys want for frames next? If you could take a vote, do you want the accessible menu builder or do you want dynamic charts and graphs? Which one? Which one are you going to use more? Which one's more valuable to you? Which one's going to have a better ROI? And I think 99% of people would be like, Doug, I don't need the charts and graphs. Please give me the menu builder. Please give me the menu builder. And then I say, of course. That's why we're focused on the menu builder next. So that's where we're going to put our money and our resources is in the menu builder because we know that's going to bring the most value to the most users. Like charts are cool, whatever. I've never used a chart on a site ever. I don't think ever. I can't remember when it happened, if it did happen. It's just like, man, yeah, see, everybody's going to say menu builder. Every single person is pretty much going to vote for menu builder. So yeah, I think that's where we go. I charge between $600 and $1,000 starting for custom Lottie files. It's not worth it in my opinion, but if a client insists there is good money to be made in animation work. There could be a random one-off instance where it makes a ton of sense, but it's like, how many sites are we building? Can anybody raise their hand where there's like, man, I just had to have a Lottie file? It's like, I don't know. It's not that exciting. For sure, if you're like a Lottie file creator, there's probably a lot of people that need Lottie files for various reasons. But as an agency who builds websites that convert, it's like, how often do we run into the need for a Lottie file? Yeah, OGC says one site ever. So if he says, I just have a passion for animation, not too much though, I make GIFs, Lotties, and explainer videos. Yeah. And you can make a lot of money, I'm sure, filling that need, but you're a specialist in Lottie files, right? It's like, the average agency probably just doesn't need Lottie files. It's not to say that there's nobody out there that doesn't need them, but the average agency probably just doesn't have much use for it. Breakdance new pricing is interesting. Well, I mean, if I had to guess, it's probably just like Elementor because they're doing what Elementor does, more or less. And I mean, they've said that. They've pretty much said that. I'm not screen sharing. I'm just going to the pricing real quick to see what's going on. Last chance for low prices, guys. Breakdance Pro, soon to be $399 a year. Well, I'm not going to knock, anything related to pricing. I think, people complain about Elementor's pricing. I guess, let me go back here. Let me go back. We can all visit this together. Here's Breakdance's pricing. Here's Elementor. Am I on the pricing page already? No. Hold on. What's going on here? Page Builder plugin. Let's go there. Okay. So their expert plan is normally $199 a year. Their agency plan is $399 a year. Okay. What did I say? What did I say? Didn't I say it probably looks something like like Elementor, because they just copy Elementor pretty much on everything. So Elementor is $399 a year. So Breakdance is going to $399 a year. Okay, called it, right? Didn't even need to look. That's 1,000 websites. This is unlimited websites. That's the differentiator that they're going for. But you know, if you're gonna get me to complain about prices, I'm rarely ever going to complain about prices, because I've already been on record 1.5 gazillion times saying that every single one of these tools is underpriced. Elementor is underpriced. Breakdance is underpriced. Bricks is stupidly underpriced. Like that LTD that's currently available for Bricks is just, guys, this is like absolutely dumb. It's just the pricing for all these things is stupid low. So you're not going to catch me complaining about prices for any of these tools. Yeah, I think yeah. Well, I just said what I said. I think that's all that really needs to be said. Now, there's going to be people who disagree. Obviously, you know, everything should be free. There's those people, you know, I love the everything should be free people. Those are fantastic. I'm like, yeah, all the sites that you do for your clients should also be free, I guess. Why don't they ever seem to extend that to their own work? It's always like know nothing, do nothing people. They're like, everything should be free. Everything should be on LTD. Okay, buddy. All right. Yeah. Why don't you just, every client you come across, $299 lifetime. That's how much their website costs. Go for it. See how far you get. Let's see. I'm waiting for Brick's new pricing before buying. Yearly might be more sustainable for dev. See, look at this. Look at this champ right here. Look at this champ. Now, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, if it's available right now, you go get it. But you also encourage them, hey, because honestly, and I made this case the other day, all these LTD collectors, they run around collecting LTDs for everything, and they love when stuff's on LTD. But what they never admit to themselves is that they have a whole wallet full of dead LTDs. We know this is the case. There's so many LTDs. Like, I got my LTD, and then 2 years later, it's like, how's that LTD doing for you? That dead app that you have. That dead plugin that's not supported anymore, that doesn't even work anymore with the latest version of WordPress, because 6.4.1 absolutely murked their plugin, and there's nobody around to fix it anymore, right? Everybody's got all these dead LTDs. Why? Why don't we focus on, if you really care about the tool and you really think the tool is super valuable, let's make sure that they're going to be around. Let's make sure they have a good cash flow situation going on. Let's get on subscription with them. Let's fund future development for this tool, because it is very important that it sticks around for all of us. Like, it should make people very comfortable that people pay annually for automatic CSS. That people are going to pay, a lot of them do pay annually for frames right now. The LTD for that will be going away. So ACSS and frames will be on like continued funding. I don't have to go find new buyers all the time for these tools. It's on continued funding. Everybody chips in, and we chip in a tremendous amount of effort and time and focus on making it better and better and better constantly. Go look at the change logs. Right? And then you don't run into an oxygen situation where the founder gets on a live stream and literally says, I don't care what people think because I already have their money and they're not going to pay me any more. So I don't care what they think. Literally said that on a live stream. Now, most people aren't stupid enough to say that on a live stream, but that's how all the LTD authors think, by the way. They also think that, you know what? A lot of these people buying my LTD aren't even going to use my product, and I don't care. I just want their money. When I created automatic CSS and put it on the LTD, I was like, please use the product after you buy it. I do not want you to buy this LTD and then not use it. Please use it, right? I hate that about LTDs. I hate that people just collect them and don't even use the product. It's stupid. But you know, a lot of people that create products love that. They're like, yes, I love the fact that people just give me money, don't actually use the product, don't ever use my support system. They love that. That's like part of the reason they keep the LTD model around. I hate that. I absolutely hate it. Okay, we got to get out of here in just a minute. What about the ACSS cheat sheet? It's right around the corner. We've got the JSON pretty much refactored. It was waiting on JSON refactoring. So that refactoring is pretty much complete. We're just doing some final round of testing just to make sure nothing else has to change with the structure. It's quite complicated. But now we're going to take the JSON and we're going to create the cheat sheet with the JSON file. So it'll always be 100% updated. There won't be any missing utilities like there have been in the past, right? Because we were always updating it manually in the past. Now the JSON, which controls the plugin, which controls the contextual menus, which controls everything about the experience of automatic CSS, is also going to control the cheat sheet. So it will always, everything will be 100% in sync at all times. That was the reason why we were moving to this model, and we're right around the corner. Question, third time. Will there be a video playlist component in Frames? There's no in Bricks universe so far, or is there a plugin you recommend? Bricks has a video player component. Now, if you tell me I don't like that component and here's why, it's missing XYZ feature, then absolutely something we can consider. But right now, like when we put videos in Frames, or when I put videos in Bricks in my own websites, I'm using the Bricks video component. They already have a video component. And I haven't run into any deal breaker limitations with it, I guess. So I haven't felt the need to build my own. But, if there is something that you want to, make a case for, I'm all ears. All right. Initial offering of LTD for seed money is not a bad thing. Subscription model after is sound. Yeah, that's exactly the approach I've taken. We do LTD for a brand new offer, basically to fund it, right? And then we move as quickly as possible to a subscription model. Okay. Let's see. That was a multi-part comment, it seems. Oh, no, here we go. Yeah, because I think this is an important point, right? End of the day, we work from home. We only need internet and a PC. Right. We don't need a location. We don't need tremendous amount of expenses that other businesses need. So it's insane to me, the main tool that we all use as a page builder. Bricks, whatever it happens to be. Breakdance, Elementor, right? All of well, I won't make the joke, okay? But anyway, that's the primary tool that we do almost all of our work with, that we make, some of us, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year from this tool. So we go back to price to value ratio. What is the price to value ratio on Bricks? My God, you know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars I've made with Bricks? And what did I pay them? What did I pay? Imagine you're the Bricks team. Let's go to bricksbuilder.io. And I didn't even buy at the current price. So let's get Bricks. This is their new homepage. I'm not a huge fan, but whatever. $249. And I think I got it at $199, $229, $199, somewhere in there. $169? Maybe I paid $169. I can't remember. But it wasn't, I mean, it doesn't even matter. Guys, I paid Thomas. Let's say it was $200. I paid Thomas $200, and then I took his tool and went and made 7 figures with it. The price to value, isn't there a little bit of a mismatch there? Don't you feel like that's a little bit of a mismatch? So we've got all these people. Now, if you're broke and you're not, your agency's going nowhere and it's basically a hobby or something, then maybe it's expensive to you. It's still not expensive, but my gosh, the mismatch. That's like me. That's like, a company that makes $10 million a year going, we need a brand new website. And we want this website. We want to rank on Google. We want you set a PPC for us. Our goal is to grow from 10 million to 50 million. That's our goal. And we think that ranking really well, having really good UX, having really good conversion rates. We think that this is really going to help us in that effort to get from 10 million to $50 million. And so that's a tremendous amount of value they want me to add to their business. And if I go back and put a proposal together where I'm like, dog, I got you. Just pay me $1,500 and I'm gonna get that all done for you. That would be like me doing that. Maybe even worse than that. Maybe it'd be like, dog, I got you. $500. $500. I'll take care of you. $500. That's kind of the value mismatch there. It's insane. The price of these tools is stupid. It is absolutely dumb. And so, but literally people will complain every day. People complain about the cost of bricks. They're like, I can't believe, Thomas, you're raising the price on this. Can't believe you're raising the price. It's like, what? I can't believe he hasn't raised the price 10 times already. That's what I can't believe. Yeah. Let's see this comment. I love this. I love these. Subtly having all the builders increase their prices so the frames builder corners the market in 12 months. Sneaky. There won't be a builder. Not anytime soon. But yeah, I mean, like we all know that most of us that are in, let's say everybody in the know, anybody with a micro ounce of business sense understands that these builders are stupidly priced. You know what they're priced for? They're priced for, here's the thing, here's the problem that I think they're facing. And they don't know any other way to solve the problem other than price, which is a common thing in business. There's a lot of page builders. And more or less, they have the same workflow, right? So the workflow in bricks of like, I've got my elements on the left, I've got my structure panel on the right, and I've got a canvas in the middle, and I've got breakpoints, and I can add things to the canvas, and I can restructure them. That general thing, right? Nobody's coming out with like a revolutionary new way to page build. It's like you open Divi, you open Elementor, then you open Breakdance, then you open Webflow, then you open Bricks, and you open Oxygen. You open them all, and you just go from tab to tab to tab. It's relatively the same experience. Now, in Page Building 101, I made a very good case for how the output of all of these builders is not the same. The output of Bricks and the output of Elementor are wildly different. And we see that Bricks and Oxygen have a class-first workflow, where Elementor and Breakdance and Divi do not have a class-first workflow, and Gutenberg does not have a... Gutenberg, the block editor, you could argue, is actually more of a fundamentally different building experience. Now, it's a trash experience. It's a massive downgrade in experience. Nevertheless, it is a different experience. But I think these page builders feel like we're not all that unique, you know? Yes, we have clean code output if you're Bricks and Oxygen. Yes, we have a class-first workflow. But they're worried at the same time that people don't know what a class-first workflow is, the majority of buyers. If you're targeting mass market, you're going from like an Elementor, mass market share, Divi, mass market share. It's tough to build a Breakdance and compete with those if you're not competing on price. You can't make Breakdance twice as much as Divi or Elementor, because people are just like, I think I'll stick with Elementor. Because what do you have to offer them? Oh, we have cleaner code output. We have a friendlier loop. We're a little bit better for e-commerce. Like, is that enough to justify? So in a market where every product is underpriced, right, is way too cheap, it's hard for you to come out with more or less the same experience and price it correctly. Now you could in a way with a Bricks, because I think that the clean code output and the class-first workflow are fundamentally different and fundamentally more valuable. But the problem that they run into is education. So they think we can't really mass market that because the mass market doesn't know what a class is. The mass market doesn't know what BIM is. The mass market doesn't know a lot about CSS. And so how are we going to go there? And the only builder that's done it properly is Webflow. That's the only builder that's actually done it properly, where they built a legitimately professional tool and they went to mass market with that tool and that workflow because along with their marketing came education. They put millions of dollars into education. That's if you're a Bricks or an Oxygen and you want to pay, if you want to charge top dollar and you want to bring a class first workflow to the mass market, you have to come with education. That's why Bricks has skyrocketed, right, in popularity. I mean, I don't mean to pat myself on the back, but I feel like they were missing the education component. So I bring in the education component to like, look at this tool that's very fundamentally different from the others. Here's how you use it. And then people are just like, fantastic, let's go, let's rock and roll. Like if that education was not there, there wouldn't be a big reason to use Bricks. If you were gonna style everything at the ID level, there's not a big reason to use Bricks, right? The only value you get out of Bricks, other than the clean code output, is the class first workflow, which you can also do in Oxygen, but Oxygen has its own issues. CPTs, repeaters, all the stuff that we talk about in PB 101. The ability to assign custom CSS with a dynamic root selector to individual elements or groups of elements. That's very, very powerful. But if you don't have education, you don't know jack shit about that, right? Nor do you care about it. Most beginners wouldn't even, because they don't even know the power of it. They don't even understand. It's not even a concept in their mind. So you bring education to the table and suddenly now you can sell lots of these copies of this tool. And now you can increase the price because now people understand the fundamental difference in value between this tool and the others. They're willing to pay more for it. If you bring a product like this to market with no education, people don't know the value difference. They don't, you can tell them, oh, class first workflow, until they've experienced it and used it and built a workflow around it. They don't comprehend the value. They cannot comprehend the value. I have this problem with automatic CSS all the time. I blatantly say this. I don't put a lot of effort into convincing people to use automatic CSS on the ACSS website. Building a website that converts people into automatic CSS is not my game plan. Like I do not rely or try to get the ACSS website to really rank for anything, to convince people to use it or to buy it. That is because I know fundamentally you cannot understand the value of automatic CSS until you use it or watch somebody else use it extensively. Once you use it, once you see other people using it, then you can get it. And once you get it, you're going to buy it, right? But I don't even want people. If you, day one, you come to you just somehow land on the automatic CSS website, right? You just, oh, here we are. What is this thing? I don't know what this thing is. I don't want you to buy it. I want you to look around. I want you to watch a video. I want you to leave. And I want you to maybe stumble upon more automatic CSS videos on YouTube and see other people using it, right? And then I want you to come back a month from now and buy it. That is the flow I hope people go through. Because I know, even with all the education I provide, all of the onboarding, like all the community that can help you, if you just day one, you don't know what a CSS framework is, you don't know what automatic CSS is, you never used something like this before in your workflow, the idea that you're gonna buy it, install it, and immediately have a great experience with it, not even understanding the philosophy, like it's slim to none. You're probably not gonna have a good experience with it. So I don't want people to buy it the first time they see it. I want people to like interact and see it happening. That's why I do so many videos, so many trainings. You see it in every single video. I want people to get it before they buy it, right? You have to, something in your mind has to be unlocked of like, oh, I get it. Then you buy it, then you have a good experience with it. If you don't get it, I don't want you to buy it. So same thing with a Bricks, right? You can build a page builder with a class first workflow. If somebody doesn't get it, they don't understand the value, the philosophy of what are we even doing with this thing, they're gonna be frustrated as hell. What the hell is a class? What am I doing with these things? I just wanna go back to Elementor where I can just style things and not have to think. That's what they want. They don't know what they need, but they know what they want, right? They don't know, they need classes, but they want ID styling because ID styling is easy. It's like, there's not a lot for me to think about. Oh, I don't have to name things. Naming things is hard. Why would I want to name things when I don't have to name things? Then you explain to them the whole laundry list of, Actually, it's funny. I was in Gutenberg, okay, because I'm planning a video. The video concept is this: can I build XYZ in the block editor? I'm gonna pick a home page or a random page, and we're gonna do this as maybe a little, every year. This is embarrassing. And not embarrassing for me. It's embarrassing for WordPress. Guys, we are 5+ years into Gutenberg's development. And I'm doing a video called Can I Build It in the block editor, right? Like, shouldn't it be 5+ years in? Should it be like, what can't I build? Like, shouldn't that be the model? Like, what is a limitation there? My concept for the video is, can I even build a simple page? Like, is it even possible? And I'm not talking about with like a block pack, right? I'm not talking about like, oh, well, I put generate blocks in here. No. Native block editor. Can I build a simple homepage? Can I build a simple sales page? Can I build a simple landing page? Is it possible? The fact that I'm asking that 5+ years into development is unbearably embarrassing, right? For the Gutenberg team, if I was them. I started to poke around. I was like, oh, let me see what's going on here. And I will tell you right now, supposedly this thing is built for beginners. Do you know, if you wanted to use the native block editor versus something like Bricks, okay? And remember, they want the block editor to kill page builders. That is absolutely 100% their vision. They do not want WordPress users using page builders. They want everybody using the block editor. I will tell you right now, if you don't know a lick of page building, if you don't know a lick of CSS, your ass better be in Elementor or Divi or Breakdance or something and not in the block editor. The block editor, it is a requirement that you know absolutely what you are doing, right? And you have to know custom CSS because they don't have controls for hardly anything, right? Like simple typography stuff, whatever, background color, main color, whatever. Anything beyond that, you're writing custom CSS. 100% every day of the week. So if you don't know custom CSS, you cannot use the block editor in its current form, which is astonishing to me because they've spent 5+ years trying to build something that supposedly anybody can pick up and use. And then the actual aspects of the layout, I can hardly use. After 20+ years of development, I can hardly use it. I don't know what I'm doing. Because I'm like, where's my div? Okay, well, there isn't one. I've got to use a group. What the hell is a group? I don't know. It's not a concept in web design. I mean, like grouping things is a concept, but there's no group element. Okay, that's never been a thing. So we're just out of thin air coming up with new concepts for things that don't really need to exist. But if you think about a beginner, yes, I guess a group is more semantically meaningful than a div. Okay, whatever. I guess that's the argument. But then, if you can have a group, you can have a stack, you can have a row. A row and a stack are both groups, by the way, but they're not called groups. They're called different things. You have a group, a row, and a stack, right? If you make the group a stack, which you can do, and nothing will change. You make the group a stack, nothing changes, but the options you have for styling have changed. You've lost options, right? In one versus this is mind-boggling to me, right? In a world where we know like a div in Bricks can be flex, row, column, doesn't matter. It can also be grid if I wanted to. It can also be a block level element if I wanted to. It can also be a list. It can also be a list item. It can be anything I want it to be or need it to be. This is not true in Gutenberg, right? In Gutenberg, you have a stack, and a stack can't be a row. I don't think. Maybe it can, but then it's not a stack anymore. It's morphed into something else. It can't be a group and a stack, right? And then if you make it a group, you have certain options. If you make it a stack, you lose some options. This is insanity. This is psychopath stuff, right? This is like, I don't know what's going on here. There is no grid to speak of. There is no grid whatsoever. There's a lot of nothing is what there is. And so the idea that anybody could open it and build a page with it, that's not happening. You're going to need a theme that gives you layouts, and then maybe you can shuffle stuff around but again, anything you need to customize beyond the ultra basics is you're writing custom CSS. So I'm going to do this series to prove a point. Like, because the answer is no. The answer is no. Can I like, if I was a beginner, can I open the block editor and put a page together? The answer unequivocally is no. After 5+ years of trying to make that the possibility. And not only is it no, you are as far away from a yes as you can possibly get. Like, I would recommend every day of the week that somebody use Elementor instead of the block editor, if that's what they're going to do. Or Divi instead of the block editor, or Bricks instead of the block. Hell, use Bricks and just style everything at the ID level. Because, by the way, in the block editor, you don't have classes. There's no classes in the block editor. I mean, you can add them to things, but you can't style them. So there is no class first workflow in the block editor. I got instantly frustrated. People will see this in the video when I put one together. I was building pricing cards. And I went back to the guys, you know how long it's been since I've styled stuff at the ID level? It's been years and years and years and years, okay? I'm used to, if I build a component called a card and I want to change the styling, it's just all my pricing cards will update. I was back in like copy paste land, manually move stuff around land, and I was like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing here? It makes no sense. But I have to show people. I have to do a video, and it's going to be a video full of you're going to see me. Just be like, what are we doing here? What do they want us to do here? What are they asking us to do here? And why? Why is this the workflow being proposed after 5+ years of development? That's kind of what you're going to see. Now, does that mean it can't ultimately get to where they want it to go? No, there's nothing stopping it from getting to where it needs to be. But it's embarrassing where it is 5+ years into development. And there's people who, like, they hate me for saying this. There's a lot of block editor lovers out there, okay? They absolutely hate this. But I think it's undeniable. You cannot, and I have to do a video so that it can be visually undeniable. Watch me do it. Hey, can a 20+ year vet even pick this thing up and get something done with it without writing a bunch of customs? The answer is no. But when I write a bunch of custom CSS, we will get to the finish line. But I'm going to show you what it takes to get to the finish line. And that's embarrassing. Okay, I think we gotta cut it there. I'll read some final comments just to see what people are saying. This is why it drives me mad when people say, just stay with Gutenberg builders and proceed to install 3 block plugins. Hey, absolutely. This idea that like, oh, I don't want Bricks because I want to build natively in WordPress. I'm like, okay, well, are you using the block editor by itself? No, I'm using Generate. I'm like, what? This is the same thing. It's still, you put a third-party layer on top of WordPress. That's all you've done. Oh, I'm using Quickly. It's the same thing. Just because Quickly's in Gutenberg, it doesn't mean it's any closer, really. Like it's still a third-party layer. It's still a third-party layer, and it doesn't give you any advantages. It gives you the same disadvantages. You're relying on a third-party layer. So yeah, this is absolutely 100% correct. Like if you're that, and that's why the series is going to be, can I do it? Like I want to do it natively. We are not going to install any third-party layer, and I will show you how limited it is. And even going into FSE, because I know the block editor, here's the argument they're going to make. Oh, well, you're not supposed to do all that stuff in the block editor. You're supposed to do it in FSE land. And in FSE land, you can do it with the block editor, but you're templating things in FSE land. And okay, we'll go there. We'll go there. We'll explore FSE together. We'll all take a look at it because I think it's very important that we all understand what's happening in core, okay? But 5+ years into development, you need a third-party layer. And by the way, the FSE theme is going to be a third-party layer, like unless you build one yourself. So we're still back to square one of I'm using a third-party layer on top of WordPress. So that is a good point there. Yeah. The things that we did on Zendesk.com will likely be frames. Don't worry about that. Let's see. Opinion on Jet Engine or Crocoblock. I've never personally used them. I've never had a need to use them. So I can't give an opinion on them. Let's see. I rebuilt 4 websites because I couldn't update Gutenberg. I call it Hindenburg. I think Hindenburg is, if we're going cultural, Gutenberg, it's all cultural references in WordPress. I think Hindenburg is a very good cultural reference. They should consider rebranding. But that's what I'm personally going with. Let's see. Some good comments in here. Yes, I feel the same way. The block editor is harder than using a page. It's way harder. It's not even just harder. It's way harder. Way harder, way more limiting. Absolutely. All right, everybody's pretty much in agreement here. But I think there's a lot of people that do want to see this block editor thing. And, I have to at some point start branching out and start bringing in more of the WordPress ecosystem to what we're doing here. And the more we bring more of the WordPress ecosystem by creating content that's outside of Bricks land, outside of Oxygen land, right? If I can go create some block editor content, if I can go create some, some late point content, some SureCart content, I can bring in more of the ecosystem, and then we can convert them over to this better workflow and more professionalism and a better vision, right? It's going to benefit everybody, but that's kind of what needs to start happening. Okay, I'm out. It's been 2 hours. I love you guys. Been live from Sarasota. I've had fun. Happy Thanksgiving, number one. Number two, you've seen the LTD stuff right here, right? Don't be the person that comes back crawling on their knees, begging for I should have got it when it was just get it now. You should have all three things. You should have automatic CSS in your toolkit. You should have frames in your toolkit. You should be using those things every single day. And you should have Inner Circle as your resource center, all right? These are no-brainers. They're all underpriced. We already talked about that. Everything in WordPress land is underpriced. I hope you have a fantastic holiday. I'll be back next week in Atlanta. Next week, pumping out more videos, pumping out more content. ACSS 3.0 is right around the corner. Frames for Figma will be back in January, right around the corner. 2024 is going to be a killer year for everything that we do. Us collectively, our agencies, our tools. 2024 is going to be on fire. Okay, I'm out. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.